use my favorite photo editing app. My favorite one is called Snapseed. You can see it's the one there with the leaf on it. It is a free app, but it's one of my favorites to use. Let's talk about how to use it. So when you first open it up, obviously you have to pick your photo that you're going to edit first. So I'm going to tap anywhere to open a photo. Now I've already taken some photos of texture on my device. If you want, you could just open straight to the camera and take your picture now. I always advise take your pictures ahead of time. So I'm going to open from device. Let me go all photos. You can see I have some texture ones there. I'm going to do this one of the dead leaf. All right, so when you edit, there are some things you want to keep in mind. First off, all of these different filters here on the side, oops, undo. I am not a big fan. They're a shortcut. They're not really pushing yourself as an artist to be better or to learn how the editing actually works. So I advise you avoid it. Instead, you are going to click on the pencil on the side. When you click on that pencil, all these different things pop up. My favorite thing to do is just the basics, which is what I'm going to show you today. That is called tuning the image. So in the upper left, you see where it says tune image. This has some of my favorite and easiest places to start for editing. So I'm going to click tune image. Now, when you open it up, we see down at the bottom, there's adjust and auto adjust. Avoid the auto adjust because just like the filters, that's the easy way out. We need to learn how to do this ourselves. So I'm just going to click adjust. Now, here are the different things that you can do. What I like to do is I'll start at the top. We see it's on brightness. Then if we look at the very top left, it says brightness 0. So if I take my finger and I just slide it on the screen to the right, you see the bar on top goes over. And that's making the picture very bright. If I slide my finger to the left, it makes the darkness very low. So this is adjusting your brightness. So you slide it back and forth, decide where do you want it. Like that'd be too much. That'd be too much the other way. I think I want to make mine a little darker there. There we go. I like that. Once you like it, I'm going to go down and click adjust again. I'm going to go to the next one, contrast. Contrast again, if I slide to the right, contrast makes your darks darker, your brights brighter, so it's contrasting. It makes things more opposite. If I slide to the left, it's less contrasting, which means they're closer to each other. I personally like contrast. I always up my contrast a bit, obviously not that far, but decide where you like your contrast. There we go. Then I'm going to click adjust again. Saturation. Slide my finger to the right. Saturation tends to make things really extremely bold, vibrant colors if you overdo it. Or black and white if it's nothing. So saturation has to do with colors. Decide, do you want to brighten up your colors a little bit or do you want to dull them out? I'm going to brighten mine a little. But be careful with saturation. You don't want to overdo it because this doesn't look real anymore. A good job editing makes something look as good as it could possibly be, but still realistic. I'm going to go there. Click adjust again. Ambiance. Again, super bright, kind of dull. Like that's just too far. Decide where you want. And you just work your way through each of the filters until you like what each one is. Highlights, very similar to brightness. So any place that's really light, it'll just lighten it farther or darken it. Make it a little bit brighter. Shadows, kind of opposite. Ooh, I like the darker shadows with this. I think I'll put the shadows down lower. And then warmth. We got red on one side, we got blue on the other. Decide if you need to adjust your colors at all. I'm going to keep mine the same, honestly. And once you've gone through all of them, at the very bottom right, you want to click the check button. That's saying, yes, you like it, save it. There we go. And there's one last thing that's really important to do with your photography. That's cropping. So I'm going to click that pencil one again. And if we look, second row down, first one in is crop. Crop is where you're cutting your picture to get rid of the stuff that you don't want. Now, you could use one of the pre-made settings at the bottom. I'm going to go with free and design it myself. So for that, I'm just going to take my finger and I grabbed a corner and I'm going to move it. Now, I have a very distracting background, so I know first and foremost, I want to get rid of majority of my background. Then I got to decide, where do I want it? Do I want it to be a square? Do I want it to be a rectangle? You decide. Now for this project, I'm focusing on texture, so I want to make sure that's the main part. Like I have a hair down there in the bottom left. I'd want to crop that out. think I want a little bit of the fold, but I like having a little bit of the blue with the planter. When you like it, again, hit the check in the bottom right. Ooh, there we go. Now we're a lot closer. So you got to be careful that you don't overcrop. As you see, I zoomed in a lot. Since I zoomed in so much, the picture gets what's called a little grainy. Grainy just means you can see kind of the little dots that make up the picture. Used to call that pixelated. Be careful that it doesn't become too grainy, because then it kind of looks a bit blurry. So don't overcrop. I might have cropped a little bit too much with this, but I wanted to really focus in on that texture. What I like about cropping is that it gets rid of all the other distractions in the pictures and makes you focus on just what you want. Once you are all done, to save, I'm just going to hit, you see the bottom right corner, there is a box with an arrow pointing up. Click that. Now for saving, you can save where it says save changes, you can undo, or you can save a copy. So that will keep your original and it'll also make a copy for this new edited one. I'm going to save a copy so we can see back and forth. There we go, it is successfully saved. I'm going to close out of this and show you the before and afters with my photos. Okay, so before we started here, we can see the colors were kind of washed out, definitely some big backgrounds, and that's how it ended up after editing, where the focus is only on that texture and nothing else. So be sure to edit your photos. I think it can really be useful. Again, my favorite app to edit is called Snapseed. It is a free one. Go ahead and play around with it. There's many other things you can do with it, but these are just the starting points. Have fun, guys!